have to do with the Republican Party is unify. I hope to see Speaker Ryan focusing on the budget. It's a big job to get the budget down the way it should be. And other than that, I have no view on it.
It doesn't bother you the most powerful Republican in Congress isn't telling his people to fully back the presumptive nominee?
I don't know that that's what he's saying. He has endorsed me, and I tell you, you see the crowds I'm getting. You saw last night in Houston. You see today in Nevada. I think we're going to do very, very well.
You told me recently that your campaign hasn't even really started yet.
We really haven't started. We start pretty much after the convention,
What's
during and after.
What's taking so long? Why wait?
Oh, well, I'm doing well. She has a head start, but I've raised a lot of money for the party. We're doing very well. Millions of dollars just this weekend.
Not as much as her.
I don't think we need, frankly, as much. And she's selling herself to Wall Street, and the Wall Street fat cats are all putting up a lot of money for her. And I don't even want that kind of money. What I'm doing is, and I don't think we need that money. I don't think I need that money, frankly. I mean, look what we're doing right now. This is like a commercial, right? Except it's tougher than a normal commercial. Look, we're going to raise a lot of money. I've raised a lot of money this weekend. I'm raising it for the Republican Party. I mean, I'm doing a good job. If you look at Reince, he'll say that we have done an amazing job in a very short period of time. I think we're going to have a great convention. And I think we're going to go on to a great victory. It would be nice if the Republicans stuck together. I think because I'm a different kind of a candidate, and you know, Paul Ryan said that, I'm a different kind of a candidate, I think that I win either way. I can win one way or the other.
With them or without them?
I do believe that. But I think because I obviously won the primaries without them. You know, I'm an outsider, and I won the primaries. I do believe that we can win either way, but it would be nice if we stuck together.
Last one for you before they pull me out of here. You talk about, you know, I talk to a lot of Republicans. Your critics say within your own party, your campaign is not organized well enough, it doesn't have the money, and it doesn't have the infrastructure in the battleground states. How do you combat that perception? What are you doing to basically reassure people in your own party that you can actually win? There's a real deep concern about that.
Well, if it were short of money, because we're raising a lot of money for the party, but if it were short of money for myself, I would put up my own money. I mean, I just put up my own money if it was at all short of money.
How much would you put up?
I'd put up whatever I need to win. I'd put up my own money. I wouldn't be that generous with it outside. I mean, frankly, people have to contribute money. People have to endorse. People have to really come through. Now, I think, you know, the one thing they're not doing is I've had so many endorsements. I mean, Darrell Issa called yesterday, and so many people have endorsed me. We have so many great endorsements. Nobody ever talks about that.
The delegates at the convention trying to overthrow.
I don't believe that. I think that's the press. Number one, they can't do it legally. Number two, I worked for 1 year, and we won all of those delegates. I guess I'm at almost 1,600, 15 to 1,600. Remember they said the most we could get is 1,200, would be short of the magic number, and I got close to 1,600. So we worked for a year, along with other people, and I competed along with a lot of establishment people. I beat them all, and now a couple of them would like to come in through the back door. It's awfully hard when I win, what did I win, 37 or 38 states? So I win 38 states, and somebody else won none, and they're going to be the nominee? I don't think so.
Coming up, could this dump Trump movement actually succeed? We're going to get into that after the break. And later, Orlando and the renewed debate over guns in America. We'll hear more from Paul Ryan on this issue, and from the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, who also has new information about
Headquarters here in New York City is Donald Trump. So where do you think you are in the race? I don't know if you guys are doing internal polling yet, but do you think you're ahead, behind, tied? Where are you?
I think it's very close. I think that probably one poll came out, I'm pretty much even. I just don't know. It's very early to have polling. I think we haven't even gotten started yet. You know, I'm just literally just starting. And I view the convention as probably a real starting point. But I think it's pretty even from what I'm seeing.
Okay. Now, you're taking some incoming from the insinuation that Barack Obama may be sympathetic to Muslim terrorists. We talked about this a little recently on this program. I don't think you believe that he's a quisling, that he's someone who wants Islamic terrorism to prosper. You don't believe that, do you?
I don't believe it. I do say, though, when I see a deal like was made with Iran, this horrible, horrible deal where we're giving them back $150 billion, to the best of my knowledge, and I tell you what, I've studied that thing pretty closely, we're getting almost nothing out of it. They're going to end up with their nuclear weapons and lots of other things, whatever they want. And then I see the way he treats Israel, I say, wow, there seems to be a double standard. I'm not happy about it. A lot of other people aren't happy about it. I can tell you the people in Israel are not happy about it. So I look at things and I see what's going on, and I'm a common sense person, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Well, the Iranian deal's geopolitics, and he believes that he's going to keep Iran from getting the nuclear device, but we'll see down the road. But your insinuation after Orlando was a little bit more personal than that. And remember the background, because you were a birther guy, you didn't believe or you questioned his birth certificate, where he was born, and now you're saying in so many words, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so you can clarify, that, look, there's something more here than just President Obama seeing the world in a non-confrontational way. There might be a personal agent here. Is that on your mind?
Well, it bothers me when he's afraid or doesn't want to mention the words radical Islamic terrorism, when obviously...
But he says it doesn't do any good to do that. It doesn't influence his policy.
I disagree with him. And then they redact a lot of the different statements made by this thug, this horrible guy that killed all of those people, and it's a disgraceful thing. So I disagree. If you have a problem, you have to be able to speak openly about the problem. This is a problem. This is a real problem. This is a worldwide situation.
And that's the difference between you and not only President Obama, but Hillary Clinton, who's, you've brought her a little bit more. But you're kind of dodging my question, and you don't usually do that. Do you believe there's a personal component inside the president's personality that sympathizes with the Muslim world and doesn't want to taint the Muslim world with terrorism? Is that what it's about?
I don't believe anything. I see things, and whether it's the Iran deal, whether it's not wanting to mention the words radical Islam or radical Islamic terrorism or other things, Bill, you look at what's going on. I mean, it's not a question of what I think. But you look at facts. This isn't thinking. This is facts. And,
I know, but you go to motive.
And I really believe this, Bill. I really believe it. No, I have no motive. I don't care.
Not your motive. I'm talking about his motive.
If he were a great, let me tell you something. If he were a great president, a great president, and that's not going to happen, I would be so thrilled. If our real employment was at 5% or 4% or 3%, I would be so thrilled. But it's not. Our country is in a horrible position in so many ways, whether it's manufacturing, which is just fleeing. Our companies are fleeing our country with jobs. You look at what's going on with this country, it's really sad.
All right.
And
so
then you have what happened. Well, wait, Bill. I look at what he does, and I look at what he says, and I look at what he doesn't say. Why isn't he willing? How do you solve a problem if you're unwilling to discuss it or unwilling to name it?
Okay, now, he says that it doesn't have anything to do. He'll drop the drones on him. He'll do what he has to do. But, okay. Motive is always hard.
Well, you're always complaining. Hey, Bill, 1 second. You're always complaining he's not strong enough. He's not going in. He's not eradicating a problem which is always getting worse.
That's my opinion.
Drones are one thing, but drones are not going to solve the problem.
And
okay?
I agree with that. I've been very tough on him, as you have, in this arena.
Yeah, well, a lot of other people agree with us.
And I may have a report coming up Thursday that might shed a little light on this, but we're still working it. Now, you and gun control. All right, let's run down the list. They got to tighten up the terror watch vis-a-vis buying gun list, right? That's got to happen, right?
Yes, sure. Okay. Absolutely. Right. Who would not agree with that?
And I think the NRA would agree with it, too. But we have to have a very precise thing about if you're on a terror watch list, this is what you can and can't do. What about the big guns, all right? Do people need the big rifles that fire a lot of rounds? Do they need them?
Well, the big guns, first of all, are the same guns that the enemy has and that people that can break into your home or do what this maniac did over the weekend. And the big guns are the same guns. I mean, you're going to have that.
Okay. So
people
you
use them for many other reasons. They use them. They also use them for recreation, Bill. I have friends that my sons are in the NRA, so am I. People use them for recreation.
Right, you have no problem then.
Reasons.
Would you put any limits on, you can't have a mortar, can't have hand grenades, can't have a bazooka.
Right.
Would you put any limits on what you can and can't buy?
On the guns, I wouldn't, because again, it's a question of protection, and also once you start, where do you end? Where do you end?
Slippery slope?
No, I wouldn't. I get along very well with the NRA on most of these subjects. I think probably the one is that when you're on a terror watch list, perhaps in a certain sense, my stance is tougher than anybody. But when you're on a terror watch list, you're on. You don't get a gun.
They just have to have rules because there are mistakes and things like that. Okay.
No, they're right. There are mistakes. And by the way, there are many, many mistakes on those watch lists. And what I would do, frankly, is work hard to eradicate the mistakes, to make sure that these people get off the list as soon as possible.
But Congress is going to have to pass a law that has exact wording. All right, now, what about you buy a big rifle, all right? You buy, for whatever reason. Should you have to register that so the FBI knows the serial number, knows you have it, knows you have it in your house? Should you have to do that?
Well, right now, if you look at the real rules, regulations, and laws right now, you have pretty good laws in terms of registration. I was actually surprised to see it. I saw it 2-3 weeks ago, where they show me laws. I mean, if we obey the laws that are already in existence, if we follow those laws already in existence,
okay, but theoretically,
you have pretty good rights.
Do you know, there are a lot of gun advocates, and including the NRA in this region, they don't want the government to know what they're holding because they think the government down the line are going to seize their guns. So theoretically, is it okay with you if the FBI knows?
I think that, frankly, I've stayed, and I really feel very strongly, I was very honored to get the endorsement of the NRA, the earliest endorsement they've ever given. I'm pretty sure the earliest endorsement they've ever given to a presidential candidate. I have stayed with what they have been saying. And I'll tell you why, Bill. These people, Wayne and Chris, I think they get a bad rap. They are great Americans. They love our country. This is what they do. They really want what's good, I think, more than anything else for our country. And I have stayed very much with what they do. Okay. Having to do with the watch list, I would like to meet with them. I think we're going to meet, actually. I think something's set up or will be set up.
There's not big opposition
because the watch list to me is very important.
Okay.
The watch list to me is very important.
All right. Now we're going to hold Mr. Trump over to talk about his campaign. Some breaking news there. And when he'll announce his VP selection. Then later, very controversial move by the Justice Department censoring some of what the Orlando killer said publicly, but then reversing itself a few hours ago. What's going on? We'll be right back. Continuing now, Donald Trump from his campaign headquarters here in New York City. So one of your advisors, Corey Lewandowski, he's out. What happened?
He's a good man. We've had great success. I got more primary votes than anybody in the history of the Republican Party by a tremendous amount, not by a little bit. I think Corey's terrific. I watched him before. He was terrific toward me. Said I was a talented person, and he's a talented person. He's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. But I think it's time now for a different kind of a campaign. We ran a small, beautiful, well-unified campaign. It worked very well in the primaries. I think I'm probably going to do some of that. I want to keep it a little bit very much in control. As an example, I have 73 people. Hillary Clinton has like almost 900 people, and we're in the same position. So, there's something nice about that. I got criticized for that. I said, wait a minute, I've spent much less money than her, and the result so far is the same. I should be credited for that. But with Corey, I'm really proud of him. He did a great job, but we're going to go a little bit of a different route.
All right. So it's a different
from
style.
This point forward.
It's a different style, and you're bringing in
a little
some
different style.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Little different style. But a good guy.
In any campaign, there's like power, backstabbing, and everybody's vying for your attention. And do you care about that? Office politics? Do you care about any of that?
Well, it happens all over. You talk about office politics. It's all over. And, I think it does happen here, too. It happens everywhere. And I'm pretty good at it. I pretty much see
we saw that
where
on The
it's coming
Apprentice.
from.
Right. So.
Yeah. No, it happens. I mean, that's part of life. That's part of business. It's part of the social fabric of life also, in case we don't want to talk about it. But that's part of life.
What about the VP search? Are you going to announce before the convention in Cleveland so you guys can go in?
At the convention.
Are you going to announce at the convention?
And Bill, I have to tell you this.
Yes.
I have to say this because I have a couple of people have said they have decided that they didn't want to be. They were never asked. I have people that want to be chosen so badly, you have no idea. I mean, so badly. And
why would they want to do that? Because you're not going to let them have any power. You're going to do everything. Why would they want that job?
No. I want somebody who's going to do a great job and has great judgment.
Okay, but tell me what you want. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? You want a real strong policy guy?
You always have to start. I mean, I hate to say this, but you always have to start with somebody that's going to be a great president in case something happens, right? Okay, you start. But I want somebody that I can rely on for their judgment. Hillary Clinton has poor judgment. I hope she picks a vice presidential candidate with good, but hopefully it won't matter because she'll lose. But I want somebody with great judgment. I also want somebody that most likely will be in the world of politics because I have all of the business experience and I have tremendous business leaders.
Yeah, I said Gingrich
in terms of getting legislation.
Right, Gingrich is probably your best bet, you know, because he had. But you see,
he's a good man.
He's a good man, but, you know, he disagrees with you sometimes. And I think that's healthy. You know, Gingrich came out and hammered you about the Mexican judge. I think that was a mistake that he made.
I've been treated unfairly. Look,
I know, but Gingrich said he's looking at the big view.
I have thousands of people that love the course, and I've been treated unfairly. What can I tell you?
All right. But what I'm trying to get across is Gingrich has all of the things that I think you're looking for, yet he's his own man. He's going to say what he thinks. He's not going to pander. I mean, is that okay with you? Do you want a strong person like that? It's all right?
It's good. No, and he's got good judgment. He's a good guy. He's been amazingly helpful. He's been, you know, I watch him on the different shows, including yours, but I'm with him also. He's got very great talents. But
he came out and endorsed you.
Great talents.
Giuliani's endorsed you. Now, we talked weeks ago about you putting together maybe a cabinet before you got to Cleveland. A bunch of guys, you know, Christie's in play, Giuliani's in play, and then going in with a team. Is that conceivable? Could you do that?
It is conceivable. Not for the vice president, but for certain positions. We may do that somewhat before the convention. We have tremendous people. We have tremendous talent. And we're going to use the talent. We're going by talent. We're not going to do necessarily politically correct. We're going by talent.
Would you step across the aisle and maybe try to convince Senator Warren from Massachusetts to come and be the ambassador to Tonga or someplace like that?
No, she wouldn't be my first choice. You know, she's been a very, very poor senator. She's passed
Tonga's pretty far away.
Little legislation. She has been. No, you know, the funny thing about Elizabeth Warren, she's been a lousy senator. She's done a terrible job.
Yeah, but she hasn't been in there that long.
You know, this presence where she's done a terrible job.
Do you regret calling her Pocahontas? Do you regret that?
I do regret calling her Pocahontas because I think it's a tremendous insult to Pocahontas.
Right.
So to Pocahontas, I would like to apologize to you.
All right. So I don't see a lot of reaching across the aisle, but who knows? Always instructive, and we appreciate you taking the time. I've told you that many times, and it's nice to have you on, Mr. Trump. Thank you very much. And one foot up, we have invited Hillary Clinton on The Factor, and we hope she will appear soon.
This morning with Donald Trump, who joins us by phone from New Jersey. This is a person who would not have been stopped by any kind of temporary ban, was born as an American citizen. What Donald Trump policy would have kept this from happening?
Well, we have to report. Look, the big thing that we're missing here is that people have to report when they see somebody. This man was pretty much unhinged. I mean, you look at his record, you look at what happened, and actually, I guess it was the gun store owner that did report, and he reported him when he went in to buy all sorts of body armor and other things. He reported him to the authorities and law enforcement, and it, you know, very sadly, nothing was done.
But
it could have been prevented. He was excellent in what he did, but unfortunately, nobody took advantage of it.
But he was
John, when you look at people within the Muslim community and where people are living and they don't report, and a good example of that would be San Bernardino. I mean, they had bombs all over their apartment floor, and people saw it, and nobody reported them, and 14 people were killed, many injured.
So, but in this case, he was investigated twice by the FBI, was taken off a list. There was no red flag that suggested that he was going to go do this. So, what was there to report?
Well, there were red flags. I mean, because when he walked in to buy all sorts of ammunition and all sorts of, I guess, body armor and other things, the owner of the store reported him.
Should somebody who goes...
There were red flags. I mean, and you look at his past. I mean, you look at... I've never seen a past quite like that. That was... You look at his record in school. You look at a lot of other things. I mean, there are a lot of red flags. This was not a very good young man.
Should somebody who goes in to buy that much ammunition get extra scrutiny?
Well, I think it depends. Everybody wants to be so politically correct, and they want to, do what's right, and they're afraid to do anything. And words that are killing us, political correctness. But unfortunately, it wasn't followed up.
When you talk about political correctness, should a Muslim buying ammunition and weapons get extra scrutiny?
I don't know about that. I think right now we have some pretty big problems, and they're problems coming out of radical Islamic, the radical Islamic groups. You have a very, very strong group of people that is radical Islamic, and that seems to be a problem.
You said you would check respectfully the mosques. How do you respectfully check a mosque?
Well, you do as they used to do in New York prior to this mayor dismantling. By the way, if you go to France right now, they're doing it in France. In fact, in some instances, they're closing down mosques. People don't want to talk about it. People aren't talking about it. But look at what they're doing in France. They're actually closing down mosques.
Can I ask you just a bottom line question before we move on? You like to speak plainly. In December, we talked and you said there possibly should be profiling. Just as a bottom line here, are you talking about increasing profiling of Muslims in America?
Well, I think profiling is something that we're going to have to start thinking about as a country, and other countries do it. And you look at Israel and you look at others, and they do it, and they do it successfully. And, I hate the concept of profiling, but we have to start using common sense, and we have to use, our heads. I see people that, and I've seen it recently. We had a case where, very much, in my case, where we had tremendous numbers of people coming into a speech I was making, and, people that obviously had no guns, had no weapons, had no anything, and they were going through screening, and they were going through the same scrutiny, the absolute same scrutiny as somebody else that looked like it could have been a possible person. So we really have to look at profiling. We have to look at it seriously. And other countries do it, and it's not the worst thing to do. I hate the concept of profiling, but we have to use common sense. We're not using common sense.
Let me ask you about the NRA's position on selling guns to people on the terror watch list or the no-fly list. What's the difference between your position and the NRA position?
Well, my position is I'm dealing with the NRA, and I have great respect for them, and Wayne and Chris and all of the people up there. These are great people. These are people that love their country incredibly, and I don't think they get enough credit for it. But I'm dealing with the NRA. As you know, they gave me their endorsement, one of the earliest endorsements they've ever given for a presidential candidate. I'm a member of the NRA. My two sons are members of the NRA for a long time, and I'm talking to them about the whole concept of terror watch list. Should we take somebody directly off if there is a terror watch list, and if somebody's on, should they be allowed to buy a gun? Now, we understand there are problems with that because some people are on the terror watch list that shouldn't be on. You understand that, and that's happened. Maybe you can reverse it, and we work very hard to find out if they can't get a gun. We work hard and diligently to get them off the list if they indeed shouldn't be on the list. So so I'm working with the NRA. We're discussing it, and again, the NRA has the best interests of our country. It just has the absolute best interests of our country. They want to make the right decision. These are great people, and these are great Americans.
Let me switch to politics. You said to Republican leaders, don't talk, be quiet. Who was that directed towards?
Well, nobody in particular. And you have to understand, I have tremendous support, including from congressmen and senators and governors, and you take a look at throughout the whole. Senator Sessions has been amazing, and I could name many, many congressmen that have been absolutely amazing and strong.
These are not obscure figures, though. When you say Republican leaders don't talk, be quiet, I mean, certainly Paul Ryan has spoken out, Mitch McConnell. Those are not fringe figures. You said if they don't cooperate, you might go it alone. So it's not, this is you talking.
Well, my attitude on that, look, I won the primaries with the largest vote ever. I brought a lot of extra voters, I guess up 70% or close to 70%. We brought additional people in that wouldn't have been in if I weren't doing this and if I weren't running. And I would say this, if people, and especially, where people endorse me, that are, Republican leaders, I think that honestly, they should go about their business and they should do a wonderful job and they should work on budgets and get the budgets down and get the military the kind of money they need and lots of other things. And they shouldn't be talking so much. They should go out and do their job. Let me do my job. I have tremendous support from both politicians and the people. Tremendous support. Unfortunately, the media just likes to cover really a small number of people that maybe have something to say. I think they should go about their work. Let me run for president. I think I'm going to do very well.
Okay, Mr. Trump, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you very much, John.
Joining us now is U.S. Attorney General Loretta.
We begin tonight with federal authorities now revealing what they say was a plot to kill Donald Trump. A man driving across state lines, showing up at a rally in Las Vegas, and reaching for an officer's gun. ABC News obtaining a federal complaint. Authorities say that man told the officer he was there to get Trump's autograph, and that's when he tried to get the gun. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas leading us off.
As the Donald Trump rally got underway this weekend at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino, a young man approached a police officer stationed at the event and asked for an autograph. Then, without warning, the man went for the officer's gun, trying to take it away, only to be quickly subdued. Authorities now say that Michael Sanford, 19, allegedly told the Secret Service that this was an attempt to kill Trump. A complaint obtained by ABC News claims Sanford, who has a British driver's license, had been planning to assassinate Trump for about a year. He allegedly told the Secret Service he had driven from California to Las Vegas on June 16th to kill Trump after seeing news reports that the candidate would be there. A day later, he went to a Vegas gun range to learn how to shoot. It's the latest security scare involving Trump, who also had a man try to rush the stage of an Ohio rally in March.
And Pierre Thomas has been talking with his sources at the Secret Service. Pierre, no word on a motive, you were telling us, but federal authorities say there was a backup plan?
David, that's right. No word on motive, but he allegedly told the Secret Service that if he were on the street tomorrow, he would try this again. And he allegedly said if he did not get a chance to attack in Vegas, he had a backup plan to go to an upcoming Trump rally in Phoenix, Arizona, to try to kill Trump there. David?